Well, this video was like, what, 5, 6 months waiting to be done. I ordered in April a new grill for the G500, and it came from Romania, and I understand COVID, blah, blah, blah. And I guess the first one got stolen somewhere, and the company was nice enough to send another. This is the grill. You can see through the box that it's the newer AMG style. The two, I'll pull it out in a second, obviously. I'm not just gonna like show you the grill and that's it. And it does come with the centerpiece and the star. I'll put a link to the company down there because they've been really good about this. Like I said, it got stolen. Somewhere along the way they resent another one, and you know, with the COVID, everything took forever. I'm wondering if I should make this glow blue. Should I or shouldn't I? I mean, yeah, I know it's kind of cheesy and everything, but isn't like a G-Wagon the ultimate cheese wagon? I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should make the star glow blue. Tell me in the comments whether I should make the damn star glow blue. Anyway, that's the original. We're going to pop that one off. I've lowered my front grill, which used the special tool. Pop the little two thingies off, and the grill sits down, or the push bar sits down. So I'll show you this in a second. Basically, you have to take the two headlight surrounds off, and then there's a couple of bolts, and it pops out pretty easy. But while I'm under there, I'm also going to check the cooling fans, the electric cooling fans on the radiator, because sometimes they're not coming on when they have to. And you can push through the grill and push on them, and then they'll start spinning. But they won't spin on their own unless you actually push on them. So I think there's a brush problem or a carbon buildup where I can spray some cleaner in there and get the brushes cleaned up. But anyway, back in a second. I'm going to get everything ready, and I'll show you what this grill looks like. Okay, so here's the new grill, and it came nicely wrapped in this like kind of cloth bag inside, then a plastic bag around that. It is pre-painted. It can come in black, silver, white, all black, I guess, meaning that there is no chrome, and all shiny black. Not sure, I guess, not sure what that is, but whatever. It came painted the color of my truck, which is very nice. I don't have to worry about painting that. And it's made in Taiwan, and it looks to be made pretty damn well. I don't know, I haven't seen a fault with it yet. I peeked around it a little bit, but looks nice. Let's just make sure it fits. Like I said, we're gonna take the two Phillips screws out of the bottom on each side of the headlights. There's a little, you can see it right there. There's a Phillips screw there and one there. You unscrew them a couple of turns. Don't take them all the way off. Look, I'm wearing a do-rag today. It's so hot. Unscrew them a couple of turns just so they're loose, and then we'll pop them out in a minute. Okay, so I loosened the Phillips bolts on both sides at the bottom, the two Phillips screws on the bottom. Again, turn them out about three turns. You don't want to take them all the way off. It's just to loosen the little there's a little finger thingy from the plastic headlight housing that goes in, and then the bolt tightens it around it. So you just need to be able to slip them up and off. So there's a bit of leaves here. So you're just going to pull up on the housing, and in the front it pulls up and off and in. The two fingers where the bolt is, where the screw is at the bottom, and at the top there's these two prongs that slide down into there. These two prongs hold these two clips. So if your front plastic around your headlight is loose, just push these so they're a little bit tighter to the body, and that'll hold them tight into the body. You do not need to remove the washer squirter. No reason. And there's the Phillips screw. So that's why you just loosen it, because that finger thing there just goes down behind here and then tightens up, and that presses it toward there. So if you take them out, it's just a pain to get them back in. And now we're just going to take these. These are the 10 or 12. There's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I believe that is all of them. I had this off before and I can't remember, but I think that's all of them. These 4 10 mils. Take them off and be back. Okay, these bolts have 3 pieces to them. There's the bolt, there's the washer, and then there's a spacer, like a bushing spacer, and the rubber. So there's like 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're all separate. So make sure you don't lose those when you pull them out. Okay, so now all 4 bolts are out, and I may have forgotten that I did forget that the washer fluid hose that goes from one side to the other, the headlamp washer, does go along the grill. So this just pulls up. But the washer fluid hose goes from side to side along inside this little piece there. So we'll just have to see if this new one has one. Let's see. So where would it go on this? Tree stuff dropping. I guess it would just go along under here. Yeah, in here. There we go. So I do have to disconnect the hose at one side or the other just to feed the hose through. But first I'm going to look at these fan motors. Again, they work, but only when I push them in and out. So I'm going to be playing with that for a few minutes and let you know if I find anything weird with it. But I believe if I can get these fan caps off. I don't know if they come off on their own. I'll be back in a minute. Mercedes W463 G500. This is a 2005. And what my problem was with my electric cooling fan. You have the clutch-driven fan in the top, the engine-driven fan. Then you have a secondary cooling fan that will come on, and then another secondary one that will come on, depending on temperature. But this one, when the temperature gets to a certain level, I think it's around 96 Celsius, somewhere around there. This secondary fan will come on, and mine would sporadically come on, not all the time. But if I reached through the grill with my finger and pushed, boop, on the center of the fan, it would go. Again, sporadically, not happily, and it wouldn't go full speed. So anyway, I noticed that the gaps in the shroud between the fan and the shroud were different, were tighter in some spots. And I guess it's just corrosion on the paint that loosens the paint up and the paint kind of flakes off and the fan kind of gets sticky in some areas. And that's going to cause the contacts, the 2 little brushes inside the motor, little brushes every time it comes on, and then there's resistance against that, they're going to arc. And when they arc, they make carbon, and carbon tracks get in there, and then the electricity doesn't get through. It's the carbon tracks, it can't fire through them, and then it gets sporadic, and then it won't go, and blah blah blah. Anyway, to fix that, to make sure it worked again, because like I said, I could push on a little bit, which changed the positioning of the brushes slightly to a cleaner spot where they would engage and go. So the first thing I did was I took a rag with some grease on it, just put a blob of grease on a rag and held that blob of grease with the rag against the center of the fan when the engine was up to temperature. Turn your air conditioning on full, that'll help it get up to temperature. And when you're pushing on it, you don't want to do it with your thumb because it will burn your thumb in about half a second because it's spinning so fast, the friction. So you use a glob of grease on a rag and hold it in there and push it in, and then once it gets spinning, it should clean itself out of the carbon tracks. The spinning motor should. If it doesn't, you might have to replace the motor, but mine in this case did work. So what I've noticed is, like, again, that the fan spacing is uneven, so I've got to move the fan. So there's 4 bolts on the fan. They're 10 mil. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can loosen those, and then you can move the mount. See, there's a mount back here. And over Yeah, it should be able to move, or does that just move the entire shroud? Huh, I thought it would move the whole thing. It might, because there's these little legs on it, but now I'm not 100% sure. I think I can do that, but let me experiment and get back. Like, again, these 4 little bolts, it just might be holding this whole shroud on. But yeah, let me see if I've got wiggle room with that. I may be wrong on that, but I think I do. Well, there's my cooling fan going. It's screaming. That's why I'm standing way back here. Makes a lot of noise, but it's making a whistling sound as it's hitting a piece of paint that has flaked off over the years. Like this one, you can see kind of on the edges. The 4 bolts did not remedy the issue. It was just, I took a flathead screwdriver and ran it around, and the flaked off paint that was grabbing and catching the fan has come off. I'm going to turn the air conditioning off. That should go off in a second. Come on, shut up. There we go. And it was merely, like I said, I guess the fan gets a little bit warped over time, and also that with the paint, you know, semi-corroding off the back. Those are galvanized, so not a lot of corrosion on there, but the paint did lift off after years, and just enough it swelled underneath to hold the fan, and then the fan arced when the motor tried to turn it, and now it's everything's working fine. Yeah, just test it by, you know, spit on your finger, put some grease on your finger, whatever, and push against the center while your air conditioning is running and your temperature is up near the top of the gauge, up where normal running temperature should be. And if it tries to turn, if it kind of jerks and tries to turn, then this will probably work for you. Again, a glob of grease on a rag and push it into the center, and push the center of the fan in, just in the center there. And it will start spinning, and it will make itself a new track and clear out that carbon pretty quick. And your fan should be good to go for a while. And again, if none of that works, you could have a wiring issue, you could have a bad fan, whatever. But if you've got a bad fan, you've most likely got a blown fuse, which is G and H, the top 2. Where are they? Inner glove box or inner fuse box on the side panel of the dash. These 2 right here are for the cooling fans. Or for the cooling fan. They're 20 amp fuses, and check yours to see if one's blown. That could just be it. But my truck wasn't overheating or anything. It just my fan clutch would never disengage, and I knew it was because the temperature was just too warm for it to disengage, so the secondary cooling fan wasn't coming on. But anyway, let's get back to putting this grill in. Not sure if it's going to happen. A little bit of an issue. But we'll be back with that in a second. Sometimes you're trying to finish up a project and the car gods are saying, screw you. I don't know that I can recommend this this grill. It looks nice. That center logo does not fit from the factory. What they sent for the grill does not fit. I had to alter it. It took me 3 hours to alter it, and then in the end it has to be glued in, and that's not cool. It's, you know, it's not like it's you know, some part that could fit 50 other vehicles. It's one vehicle this is meant to fit. Same vehicle has been made since, like, what, 1978. Pretty easy to get that stuff simple, that stuff straight. So I don't know, the part, it didn't really fit. And the grill itself, couple mounting points on the bottom that were not on the original. Don't know what they're for, but I had to cut them off because they're pointless. But anyway, I'm gonna try and get the whole thing on, and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. I mean, it looks good. It looks okay. It looks better than the original, but I can't recommend it as a product since it's so ridiculous to install. That emblem is, I'm not happy with it. All right, all done. Yes, it does look better than the factory, but it was a bit of a pain in the ass. Whatever, a couple little things to adjust is no big deal. This emblem, that took the cake. That wasn't cool. If you provide an emblem with the grill and it doesn't like fit in, it doesn't go in. I had to cut like 4 millimeters off of parts of that thing in order to get it to go in, and then glue it to get it to stay there. Just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, this is it. Looks great. Thanks for watching.